Hello everyone, and welcome to my General Hospital official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The General Hospital recap for Monday, May 5th, reveals that Cody Bell saved Rocco Falconeri, Carly Spencer hushed Lulu Spencer, and Brad Cooper was ready to expose Portia Robinson. Carly pretended to be visiting Nina Reeves to check on Wiley and Amelia Corinthos. Willow Corinthos made it apparent that Carly would have to go through it again, and she ended up shouting about Michael Corinthos' refusal to visit her in Baden-Baden. When the conversation shifted to Drew Kane's fiasco, Willow defended him since she believed he was drugged into behaving that way. Carly scoffed as Willow stood by her boyfriend before fleeing. Willow inquired whether Nina felt she was an idiot for trusting Drew's version of the story. Nina wondered whether Willow simply wanted to trust Drew because she had flipped her life upside down for him. Despite Nina's attempts to persuade Willow that Drew was unfaithful, Willow was certain that the escort drugged Drew and that someone hired her to set him up. Drew kept silent about his blurry Tracy Quartermaine flashback at GH, but he promised Max Scorpio that his memory will return soon and that he intended to find out who drugged him. Drew took some fluids and used his phone's GPS to retrace his steps from the night before. Drew had a hazy memory of meeting Portia at the hospital after realizing he had been there. Brad wanted a promotion in Portia's office, citing his increased leverage. Brad then reminded Portia that she had him investigate Drew's medical records and grab ketamine at the exact dosage he required. Brad acted as if he was in charge again now that Drew's scandal had gone public. Portia stated that no one would believe an ex-convict's word over her, and she proposed Brad be punished for drugging Drew before kicking him out of her office. Brad discovered Drew in an exam room after witnessing Lucas Jones and Marco Rios' flirtatious exchange. Brad piqued Drew's interest by offering to reveal who was behind his body shop party, but he expected something in exchange. Dante Falconeri pressed Lulu to stop dancing around the house and tell him what Brooklyn Quartermaine had done. Carly interrupted Lulu before she could say anything, and she was pleased she did when they were alone. After reflecting on Robin Scorpio Drake revealing Michael's paternity secret, Carly insisted Brooklyn's secret was not Lulu's to reveal. Carly predicted that if Lulu revealed the truth about Brooklyn and Dante's kid, she would regret it for the rest of her life. Lois Cerullo tried to shut off Tracy's concerns regarding her great-grandson's whereabouts at the Quartermaine house by claiming the adoption was closed. Tracy felt Lois pushed Brooklyn into the adoption to keep the baby away from the Quartermaines, but Lois said it was merely a bonus, not the aim. Emma Scorpio Drake hugged Jocelyn Jacks and thanked her for saving her life after she feigned to locate the now-corrupted thumb drive in the sand during the campfire. Jocelyn ultimately intimated that it wouldn't be the end of the world if Emma didn't receive the research assistant position, but Emma was desperate to get it. Meanwhile, Danny Morgan battled to wake up an intoxicated Rocco, who ultimately murmured something taking shots as part of a drinking game. When Danny summoned Giovanni Gio Palmieri to assist, he pointed out that no one could learn about their campfire crashing. Rocco awoke briefly and seemed fine, so Gio figured he just needed to sleep it off. After Gio and Danny had taken Rocco to the boathouse, Cody came along and saw him unconscious on the cot. Cody recognized Rocco's breathing was shallow and told Gio they needed to bring him to the hospital. At GH, the medical team planned to treat Rocco for alcohol toxicity. Meanwhile, Dante was with Lois when he received Cody's call about Rocco's hospitalization, and he rushed over with Lois. Lulu promptly joined Dante at the hospital after receiving news updates. According to Cody, the doctor suspected alcohol intoxication and had Rocco's stomach pumped. Gio brought up the beach party and tried to explain that they weren't there together, but Dante pushed him to start talking now. According to General Hospital spoilers, Dante will soon play the blame game, so don't miss any of the rising drama. Editors independently choose all of the products and services displayed. However, Soaps.com may earn a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the merchant may obtain certain auditable data for financial reporting. Our children frequently follow in our footsteps, and while some pursue careers in the same fields as their parents, others embark on their own. So, it's safe to say that some things just run in the family, and Rena Sofer from General Hospital is a proud mama. The ABC serial star shared a snapshot of her daughter, whom she shares with director/producer Sanford Bookstaver, and informed fans that Avalon is directing her first film. Look, My big girl is directing her first film in college. Sofer cheered. I am very proud of you, Avalon, and I can't wait to see Jane Street and all you do in the future. However, her celebrity mother had one question. Do I need to audition for you? And Avalon's father, who has directed countless performances, including a handful from the Chicago franchise, could not be more proud. I am the proudest father in the world, Bookstaver stated while sharing the same photo on Instagram. Avalon is directing her first major film, Jane Street at Northwestern University. We're fellow directors. Vanessa Marcel, Sofer's friend and former General Hospital star, chimed in with a loud "Yay!" in the comments. Fans cheered her on as well, offering stories about their own children. And we wish Sofer's daughter all the best as she embarks on this new career. According to General Hospital spoilers, Tracy Quartermaine is aware that Brooke Lynn Quartermaine placed a kid for adoption while she was in high school, and Lulu Spencer is keeping this information from her. Tracy wants answers and has asked Lois Cerullo where her great-grandson is. Tracy isn't having it with Lois and won't receive the answers she wants, but she will want to get them, and Lulu might be able to help. Tracy Quartermaine confronts Lulu Spencer. Tracy would confront Lulu about her role in everything, and how she had been keeping this knowledge from Brooke Lynn. Lulu would shortly understand that Brooke Lynn had failed to mention that Dante Falconeri is the father of the baby she had given up for adoption. Tracy would find this piece intriguing, and Lulu would tell her about her adoption article and what she knows about the adoption. Tracy Quartermaine and Lulu Spencer put the pieces together. Tracy and Lulu would talk, and Lulu would tell Tracy about her findings from Martin Gray's papers. Lulu would recall her conversation with Gio Palmieri at Dante's birthday party, and figure that he would be roughly the same age as Brooke Lynn's kid. Tracy would have a light bulb moment and understand that Lois did not give the baby up for adoption. Instead, she gave the infant to Joe's mother to raise as her own, as she is a member of Lois' extended Bensonhurst family. They would both be surprised to learn that Gio is Brooke Lynn and Dante's son, and Tracy would be relieved that Gio is a Quartermaine because she has grown fond of him, but enraged that Lois hid the truth from everyone. She would tell Lulu to keep quiet about it until she figured out how to handle the problem. Tracy Quartermaine interviews Lois Cerullo. Tracy would rush back to the mansion and tell Lois the truth about Joe's true origin. She has put everything together and knows the truth. Although Lois would try to deny it, Tracy would know she was lying and would press her to accept it, citing all of the evidence and coincidences Tracy had witnessed. Lois would be compelled to accept the truth, and Tracy would advise her that she needed to tell Brooke Lynn and everyone else the truth right away, even though it was already too late. If she ever hopes to be forgiven by anyone in her family, she must tell everyone. Drew threatens to kill Nina after Willow informs him that Nina drugged him. General Hospital spoilers hint that Drew Kane is down, but not out. Willow Corinthos appears to be on the verge of forgiving him. Also, she recently overheard her mother, Nina Reeves, and Carly Spencer discussing how Nina brought Drew down. Willow will eventually approach Nina and tell Drew the awful truth. However, Drew appears to suspect Tracy Quartermaine. Willow Corinthos confronts Nina Reeves for drugging Drew Kane. Nina would be over herself after overhearing Nina and Carly discussing how Nina was to blame for Drew's death and ask Willow to let her explain. Willow wouldn't hear of it and told Nina that she would never trust her again. She can't believe Nina fell so low and attacked Drew in such a way only to end their relationship. Willow tells her that their relationship is finished, and she should have realized Drew was telling the truth and was not to blame. Willow would storm out, leaving Nina upset. Willow Corinthos informs Drew Kane that Nina Reeves was responsible. Drew would be furious, believing Tracy was to blame for drugging him, but Willow would come home and inform him that Tracy was not to blame. It was Nina. She overheard her and Carly discuss it. Drew would become further angrier, telling Willow that he was going to confront Nina and apologize for bothering him. Willow would encourage him to leave everything alone. Removing her from Nina's life is punishment for her. Drew would argue that he should have his say and confront Nina. Drew leaves to confront Nina. Drew Kane visits Nina Reeves. Drew would rush to Nina's apartment and confront her. He would scold her about what she had done and how it had entirely backfired on her. Nina would assure him that it was worth it because she would do anything to keep Willow away from him. Drew would tell her that she would never end his and Willow's relationship, and that she was done interfering in their lives. Nina would inform him that she was going to tell Willow the truth. She and Drew were having sex. Nina would claim that she has nothing to lose at this time. Drew Kane threatens to kill Nina Reeves. When Nina threatened to tell Willow the truth about Drew and Nina's previous relationship, Drew threatened to murder her if she did. He would mean it. Nina would giggle and tell Drew he couldn't stop her. Drew would confront her and threaten to kill her if she told Willow anything. She not only drugged him and threatened his connection with Willow, if she told Willow what transpired between them, he would not hesitate. Drew claims he will kill her with his bare hands. Nina would be astonished, scared, and confused what to do at this moment. Drew has been liberated, making him more deadly than ever, and who knows what he may do. The tension in Port Charles rose to new heights as the latest episode of General Hospital included high-stakes drama, intense confrontations, and stunning revelations. The day began with a heartbreaking situation involving Rocco Falconeri, whose life was hanging in the balance following a severe accident. Meanwhile, Carly Corinthos had a furious discussion with Lulu Spencer, which resulted in Carly making it obvious that she would not tolerate any involvement in her affairs. Across town, Brad Cooper was observed making moves that might spell doom for Portia Robinson, appearing to be prepared to divulge secrets that could upend her life. The episode began with Rocco Falconeri in serious jeopardy following an incident at the park. The small youngster was playing near a construction site when a section of scaffolding collapsed, trapping him beneath the debris. Panic broke out as spectators raced to aid, but Cody Bell emerged as the hero of the hour. Cody, who had been close, did not hesitate to take action. With quick thought and pure perseverance, he was able to lift the huge metal beams off Rocco, releasing him just as emergency personnel arrived. The scene was hectic and Rocco's mother, Lulu Spencer, arrived moments later, her face filled with panic. When she witnessed her kid being placed into the ambulance, she turned to Cody with teary eyes and thanked him profusely for his bravery. Cody, ever the humble sort, brushed aside the compliments, stating that he simply did what anyone else would have done. Those who knew Cody's history recognized that this act of courage was another step on his path to redemption. As Rocco was rushed to General Hospital, attention went to Carly Corinthos, who was in the midst of a heated argument with Lulu. The two women had been at odds for weeks, with Lulu determined to investigate Carly's business operations, particularly her recent connection with the Jerome Group. Carly, who never backs down from a fight, had reached her limit. When Lulu tried to corner her in the hospital hallway and demand answers about her shady connections, Carly cut her off with frigid precision. "You need to stay out of my life, Lulu," Carly admonished, her voice low and forceful. "Whatever you think you know, whatever vengeance you're holding, discard it. Because if you don't, you'll be sorry." Lulu, never one to back down, retaliated, accusing Carly of using her power to control people around her. Carly's steely glare, however, made it plain that this was not a bluff. The exchange left Lulu obviously disturbed, but it was unclear whether she would heed Carly's admonition. Meanwhile, Brad Cooper was making decisions that might have serious ramifications for Portia Robinson. Brad, who had kept a low profile since his release from prison, was spotted meeting with an unknown figure in a dimly lighted alley. The meeting was quiet but serious, and Brad handed over a file containing documents. "This is everything," he said, his face bleak. "If this gets out, Portia's finished." The ramifications of his remarks were staggering. Brad looked to be planning to reveal Portia's deepest secrets, potentially as retaliation for past betrayals. Portia, oblivious of the impending storm, was busy in the hospital, tending to patients and enjoying a nice moment with her husband, Curtis Ashford. The juxtaposition between her calm day and the danger lurking in the shadows only added to the excitement. Back at the hospital, Rocco's condition improved, much to the relief of his family. Dante Falconeri came soon after the ambulance, his face pallid from fear. He embraced Lulu warmly, both of them relieved that their son was alive. Doctors told them that Rocco would fully recover, but he would need to stay overnight for observation. As Dante and Lulu sat at Rocco's bedside, the emotional weight of the day appeared to rest on them. Dante took a moment to thank Cody personally, recognizing that without his prompt efforts, the outcome may have been disastrous. According to General Hospital teasers for Tuesday, May 6th, Drew Kane will make a deal for information while Willow Corinthos accuses her top suspect. Dante Falconeri will also blame Giovanni Gio Palmieri. So let's discuss what's next in Port Charles. First, Ava Jerome will remind Rick Lansing that they are supposed to work together, and hope that he will follow through on their highly profitable blackmail operation. Alexis Davis will brief Diane Miller on the situation that has been unfolding since Molly Lansing Davis discovered the papers to commit Christina Corinthos Davis. Molly raced directly to Christina with the news, and they're both upset at Alexis. Diane will feel bad because she did not shred the papers as Alexis instructed her to, and her luggage accident at the hospital resulted in Molly's stunning discovery. However, Alexis will claim that these are her girls, and it is her responsibility to rectify this. Alexis does not appear to be blaming Diane for what happened, so she will instead focus on repairing all of the latest family damage. Meanwhile, Christina will tell Lucky Spencer that Alexis wants her to commit. Despite Christina's fury, Lucky will point out that Alexis is not entirely incorrect about her recent mental state. Christina will inquire if Lucky is implying he thinks she's insane, and Lucky will undoubtedly dismiss that notion. Nonetheless, Christina went off the rails when she chose to tamper with Ava's brakes, sabotaging Rick's car by accident. Lucky will encourage Christina to recognize that Alexis was coming from a place of worry, and she will develop a fresh perspective as a result of this interaction. At General Hospital, Brad Cooper will insist on telling Drew everything for the proper price. Since Drew is going to obtain some important information, it appears that Brad will cut a deal and rat Portia Robinson. Drew has been getting foggy flashbacks of Portia and Tracy Quartermaine, so he may assume the two of them conspired against him, especially after obtaining Brad's information. Willow will then continue her talk with Nina Reeves, who will conceal her own culpability, while Willow points the finger at another suspect. Tracy is a possibility, but Willow is more likely to accuse Carly after their recent encounter. Speaking of Carly, she will hear Danny Morgan's confession about forcing Rocco Falconeri to attend the bonfire and leaving him alone. Rocco had alcohol poisoning from all the shots, so Carly believes Danny should feel bad and accept responsibility for what happened. Back in the hospital, Dante will make an angry prediction. If something happens to Rocco, it will be Joe's fault. Although Gio assumed Rocco could simply sleep off the alcohol at the boathouse, Cody Bell arrived and noticed Rocco's breathing was shallow. That's why they all ended up at GH for Rocco's stomach pump, but Dante may argue that Gio should have phoned 911 and gotten Rocco medical help right away. Dante may even threaten Gio with legal action because he was at a party with underage drinking, but Lois Cerullo will beg him to stop, especially because Gio has a music scholarship to worry about. When Rocco awakens, he'll apologize for attending the beach party against Dante and Lulu Spencer's wishes. Rocco may say Gio was brought into all of this by accident and persuade Dante not to blame him for attempting to help. General Hospital spoilers predict Gio will have a lot to say when he sees Emma again soon, so stay tuned. According to General Hospital spoilers, Christina Corinthos Davis has recently been causing an unprecedented amount of mischief. At the same time, the show constantly bringing up Helena Cassadine's lethal knife, which was used to kill Christina's maternal grandmother. Clearly, the hatchet is cursed, and Cassadine coincidences tie the plots together. Some fans speculate that Chrissy will use the weapon to go after Ava Jerome. Will Christina go after Ava again? Jen Sidwell once asked Alexis Davis out to Windmere. When she arrived, he presented her with the dagger and encouraged her to take it home. She departed the island without the dagger, and it appeared that Sidwell had set her up to get her fingerprints on it. The plot took a different turn this week when the dagger arrived at Alexis' office. Sidwell protests that he shouldn't keep the weapon, but we assume he has a hidden goal. How soapy would it be if Alexis' daughter used the dagger that killed her mother to kill Ava? The cursed Cassadine dagger. Ava Jerome is blackmailing Alexis because Chrissy attempted to kill her. There is no love lost between Ava and Christina, as Christina attempts to kill Ava in a vehicle accident. Christina inflicted injuries on Rick Lansing and Elizabeth Baldwin rather than Ava. Christina may say she wants to end her vendetta against Ava, but we believe she will try to harm her rival again. Do you believe Christina will be able to remain calm and sane if she discovers Ava's blackmail plot? We're referring to Christina, the girl who never learns. Will Christina find out that Ava is blackmailing Alexis? Far less has pushed Christina over the line, and if she discovers that Ava is putting the screws to Alexis, She will use that as an excuse to break the law. Isn't it convenient that the Cassadine death dagger has resurfaced after all this time? And is it in Alexis' possession? Do you believe Christina will be able to use the lethal blade to kill Ava? General Hospital Spoilers Weekly Preview Video May 5th to 9th. Shocking Truths, Relentless Pursuit. Secrets Discovered, Deadly Danger. General Hospital's explosive week ahead includes Lucky's bombshell, Tracy's rant, Drew's pursuit, Willow's showdown, and Danny's risk. General Hospital spoilers and updates for the week of Monday, May 5th through Friday, May 9th feature furious daughters, ugly confrontations, and perilous scenarios. Christina Corinthos Davis is frustrated, Lois Cerullo has an ugly confrontation, and Rocco Falconeri is in danger. Frustrated daughters. A glimpse of Alexis Davis in her law office is seen, as Christina and Lucky Spencer talk elsewhere. Christina is angry as she sits in a cafe table with Lucky and tells him, "My mother is trying to get me committed." Her expression clearly indicates that she is dissatisfied with Lucky's response. In fact, she appears surprised. Read more. Find out what happened in the last episode of GH. Lucky informs her that Alexis wasn't entirely wrong, but Lucky used to be a cop and understands the logic. An insanity defense might be effective if further inquiry, or Ava Jerome, revealed to the PCPD what truly transpired that night Rick Lansing and Elizabeth Baldwin wrecked. Direct questions. Drew Kane appears to be in the hospital, as he asks hospital staff some direct questions. It appears he is speaking with Brad Cooper, who will make a life-changing decision this week. Read this, the latest GH comings and goings. Drew asks the man, who is shown from behind in what appears to be a white lab coat, if he knows who drugged him last night. It would be a life-changing decision if Brad revealed that Portia Robinson set him up to get the ketamine that hooker Jacinda dosed him with. It would revolutionize Brad's and Portia's lives. Mother-daughter squabbles. Elsewhere, there's a major mother-daughter fight going on as Nina Reeves' scheme has gone horribly wrong. Willow Corinthos leveled allegations. Willow gets in her mother's face and says, "You and I both know who did it." Of course, Willow is alluding to Drew being drugged with ketamine at the Savoy, and the subsequent highly public spectacle. The scene was so awful and went so viral that Drew may never recover from the disgrace. Looking back over history, things might have been worse. At least he didn't drive Jacinda off a bridge. Did someone say Chappaquiddick? Ugly confrontations. Meanwhile, inside the Quartermain home, an ex-mother and daughter-in-law are having an unpleasant fight. Tracy Quartermain confronts Lois, while Brooke Lynn Quartermain Chase appears to be in tears. Brooke Lynn had informed Tracy everything about her teenage pregnancy and her boy, except for his identity, which she didn't know yet. Tracy appears to suspect something as she lashes out at a terrified Lois, saying, "Brooke Lynn doesn't know where her son is, you do." Has Tracy figured out that Gio Palmieri is actually Gio Quartermain or Gio Falconeri? Read this, General Hospital spoilers. Dangerous situations, tough love, intense encounters. Dangerous situation. Rocco is in a hazardous scenario as Danny Morgan attempts to rouse him. Cody Bell may have arrived on the scene, but what he would be doing at the college kids' beach party remains unknown. Danny continues to shake Rocco and cry his name as a male voice says, "We need to get him to the hospital right away." And a female voice, possibly Jocelyn Jacks, gasps, "My God." Jocelyn would feel terrible, which makes sense given that Danny ran into her on the beach, and she agreed not to tell anyone he was there. However, he was alone at the time and Rocco was away. He'll be fine as he'll apologize. It's always exciting to see former soap stars return to the set, and today we got a look behind the scenes at General Hospital with a former ABC actress. Not only did she play a notable character on the serial, but she was also a major fan favorite on the sister show One Life to Live. Chris McKenna shared a selfie with the stunning Jessica Tuck, who played Cassandra Pierce from 2017 to 2019. However, meeting the actress was more than just two people appearing on the same serial. They collaborated long before each earned new parts in Port Charles. "I can't tell you what an unexpected joy it was to run into the Jessica today on set," the actress said. "My long-lost big sister from One Life to Live." Those who watched the much-missed serial will remember Tuck's Megan Gordon as McKenna's character Joey Buchanan's older half-sister, and one half of the super couple Jake and Megan. While her character was afflicted with lupus and died in Jake Harrison's arms, Tuck also appeared in daytime shows such as Sunset Beach and Days of Our Lives, as well as over 142 primetime roles. In her General Hospital stint, Cassandra played a lady from Valentine's past who planned to unleash a dangerous narcotic on the streets of Port Charles, and even attempted to get Finn hooked. However, after a series of robberies and kidnappings, Nina finally poked a needle in Cassandra in self-defense, causing her to fall into a coma. After a couple of men seized her from WSB custody, Anna was used as bait to entice Finn to join them in order to wake Cassandra. Finn ended up drugging her captors and fleeing with Anna, leaving Cassandra behind. She was later taken by an unidentified man wearing a Cassadine ring. The tension in Port Charles had reached a boiling point as alliances moved, secrets were revealed and accusations flew. Drew, ever the planner, had spent weeks meticulously planning his next step. His recent decision to make a deal with Brad sent shockwaves across the community, leaving many wondering what he had planned. Brad, a man with his own skeletons in the closet, was initially apprehensive, but eventually recognized the benefits of teaming up with Drew. The pact between them was cloaked in secrecy, but whispers said it contained buried evidence, financial leverage, and a mutual adversary who stood to lose everything if their plan worked. Meanwhile, Dante found himself at the center of another tempest, his frustration growing as he blamed Gio for the current mayhem. Dante had always been a man of conviction, but his patience was running thin. He was confident Gio was involved in the recent string of crimes affecting the city, but actual evidence remained elusive. His claims were not warmly received by everyone. Some regarded it as a desperate attempt to shift blame, while others questioned if Dante was onto something. Gio, for his part, denied any involvement, his calm demeanor adding to Dante's suspicions. The more Dante pushed, the more Gio appeared to slip through his fingers, leaving him wondering if he was following the right path or slipping into a skillfully prepared trap. Then there was Willow, whose inquiry into a recent crime had turned tragic. She chased her suspect with relentless persistence, convinced she had discovered the culprit, only to discover too late that she had accused the incorrect person. The aftermath was swift and devastating. The true offender remained at large, emboldened by her error, while the innocent party she had attacked was left reeling, their reputation shattered. Willow's mistake weighed heavily on her, forcing her to face the repercussions of her rashness. Had she rushed to judgment? Did her personal biases influence her judgment? The questions tormented her as she worked to repair the harm, but some wounds were more difficult to treat. As these three tales intersected, the stakes increased. Drew's bargain with Brad could be his greatest achievement or his undoing, depending on who learns about it. Dante's dogged pursuit of Gio threatened to alienate his allies and reveal truths best kept hidden. Willow's error served as a warning about the hazards of leaping to conclusions in a place where nothing is as it appears. Port Charles had always been a location where relationships were tested. Trust was considered a luxury, and the truth was frequently disguised by layers of subterfuge. Drew, Dante, and Willow were all playing high-stakes games, but in a world where one wrong move might ruin everything, the question remained: who would win and who would be left to pick up the pieces? Drew and Brad's pact was more than just a commercial arrangement. It was a calculated risk that had the potential to upset the balance of power in Port Charles. Drew had always been an expert at reading people, and he was aware of Brad's vulnerabilities. Brad, while first skeptical, had his own reasons for agreeing. Perhaps the promise of safety, or the prospect of exposure, drew him into the partnership. Whatever the case, their partnership was on shaky ground, and it wouldn't take much to bring it down. Dante, on the other hand, was almost out of time. His supervisors were increasingly impatient, seeking outcomes he couldn't deliver. His concentration on Gio was turning into an obsession, blinding him to alternative options. Was Gio actually the mastermind Dante thought him to be, or was he just a pawn in a much bigger game? Every clue Dante discovered seemed to point back to Gio, but something felt strange. The truth got increasingly elusive as he pressed harder. If he didn't produce strong evidence quickly, his career and credibility would suffer.